With version 5.5 of Genshin Impact, we are getting like usual 4 banners with Varesa and Xianyun in the first phase, then Venti and Xilonen in the second phase. But the usual question is, who should you spend your precious Primo Gems on?
Catch me if you can!
Hey everyone, it's Aram here. So I will go over each character while giving you a general recommendation and a kit explanation. Before I begin, I have a sub goal of 500 subs and every sub will be highly appreciated. Let's first start with Varesa. She's a 5-star Electro Catalyst whose main role is being a main DPS. She's good for players looking for a DPS with a plunging playstyle. And I think you can already tell what Hoyo is doing with the first phase banners, if you know anything about Cloud Retainer, because Varesa's main source of damage is her plunging attack, with both her skill and emitter burst working mainly to enable her to do these plunging attacks. Her emitter skill makes her enter a special state where her normal attack make her jump into the air and do a plunging attack, so no need to tap the jump button then plunge like Xiao, which of course makes her skill very convenient. On top of that, while in this state, her attack speed is heavily increased, which just allows her to do damage to your enemies more quickly. And of course, like every other character from Natlan, if you hold her elemental skill, she enters a state where she can sprint very fast, which is capable of breaking down obstacles, performing leaps, and treading across water, and of course, it consumes her Night Soul points in exchange. Now her elemental burst has 2 ways to activate. The first one she activates while she's in the Fiery Passion state, which happens after she does a consecutive amount of successful plunging attacks, which allows her to use her elemental burst at a lower cost than her usual. And the other way is the normal way. Her elemental burst allows her to do AoE electro damage, and if you weren't already in the Fiery Passion state, the burst will make her enter it immediately, which enhances her plunging attack to deal more damage. Plus her charge attack sends her into the air to allow her to do a plunge attack comfortably. Overall, she seems like a very promising electro DPS, great for players who enjoy a plunging attack playstyle, which by the way, is super fun. But is she the character to finally make Xiao rest, or will she prove that Xiao is the king of plunge attack DPS? Only time will tell. The next character is Xianyun. Now if you remember what Hoyo did during the Mavwika patch, they put her with the character that has the best synergy with her in the same phase, which is Citlali. This patch is not so different. Varesa's most synergetic character is Xianyun. But why? Because Xianyun is made to buff characters who do plunge attacks, and to also enable other characters to do them too. Xianyun is good if you want your plunge playstyle characters to do more damage. Plus if you like that playstyle so much, it will enable others to get a plunge playstyle too. Now her elemental skill makes her enter the Cloud Transfer state, which makes her use the Sky Ladder, aka where she turns into a bird. With every time you tap her skill, she leaps into the sky further with a maximum of 3 leaps. Then she will perform a plunge attack that deals AoE damage to opponents. The main reason why you want to use her elemental skill is to give her energy to make the burst available, which is the juicy part of the kit. Elemental burst makes her deal AoE and emo damage while also summoning the Star Wicker mechanism. The Star Wicker mechanism does multiple amount of things. First, it heals party members, and it will start with 8 stacks of adeptal assistance, which increases the jump height of party members to allow any character to do a plunging attack. With every plunge attack done, 1 stack of adeptal assistance gets consumed, also dealing AoE and emo damage. Of course, she also buffs the plunging attacks of everybody. Every time you hit the enemy with her skill, any plunge attack enabled by her burst, party members gain a stack of Storm Pinion for 20 seconds, which increases their crit rate. Now if you get that using a plunge created by her burst, for every assistance stacks there is, she will increase team members' overall plunge damage. Overall, a perfect character to make your plunge playstyle characters stronger, like Varesa for example. But the fact that they are both in the same phase is rather disappointing. Basically, it will pressure you to try to get Xianyun as fast as possible, which is FOMO. Especially if you want to get Varesa, because Varesa's best team has Xianyun in it. Unfortunately, we have no other character like Xianyun focused on buffing plunge damage. Please Hoyo, stop doing this. Now let's start with the second phase, which features both Venti and Xilonen. Venti, in my opinion, is not that good of a character to go for these days, considering that we have Xilonen in the same phase. But if you like that character and you want to complete your Archons collection, then go ahead. He's a bow and emo support that mainly focuses on crowd control and further enhancing your elemental reaction. His elemental skill is different depending on if you tap it or hold it. If you tap it, he summons a wind current dealing an emo damage while launching enemies into the air. If you hold, he summons an enhanced wind current lasting 20 seconds, also dealing greater emo damage, launching enemies into the air while also launching himself into the air with them, which can be useful for exploration advantages like reaching oculi. In his elemental burst, he fires off an arrow that creates a big vortex that sucks your enemies, dealing continuous emo damage. If the vortex comes into contact with any of these elements with the order of highest priority, it will infuse and start dealing continuous damage of that element with only 1 infuse at a time. A very simple and straightforward kit, considering that he is from older versions of the game. But once again, there are better options like Kazuha. But if you want to complete an Archon collection, then why not? But don't be surprised if you find yourself not using him as often as time goes on. Xilonen is the last character, and she's better than Venti in terms of support. She's a Xiyu is sort of character that mainly focuses on debuffing the enemies for the sake of allowing your teammates to deal more damage. She's good if you want literally any character and team of yours to deal more damage with a very low effort. Her kit has a lot of words, so let me explain it very simply. When she uses her elemental skill, she enters a state where she can move around very quickly and easily climb up mountains and walls, where she can literally turn into an ocelot when jumping while climbing up walls. Furthermore, she has 4 samplers that are set to Xiyu by default, but if there are more than 2 different elements in Xilonen's teams, she will change 2 of her sampler gems to the other 2 elements. Her normal attacks during her skill activate the samplers, giving a corresponding elemental resistance shred to the enemy. For example, if 2 of your samplers are Hydro and Electro, she will give the enemy a Hydro and Electro resistance shred. And the good part is, the resistance shred is based off her defense. Her elemental burst is straightforward. If you use it, Xilonen heals the on-field character based off her defense. Her passive makes it so that whenever you use a Natlan character elemental burst, it will increase her defense by 20% for 15 seconds. They also allow her to gain more nitro points when using her skill enhanced attacks whenever she has 2 of her sampler elements changed, which is super helpful to increase her resistance shred and make her more useful for exploration. Overall, an excellent character if you're looking forward to make your team deal way more damage super easily from a character that doesn't need a lot of setup. The damage buff is as good as Kazuha and needs way less effort to take advantage of, unlike Kazuha. In summary, Varesa is good for players looking for a DPS with a plunging playstyle. Xianyun is good if you want your plunge playstyle characters to do more damage. Venti, in my opinion, is not that good of a character to go for these days, considering that we have Xilonen in the same phase. And Xilonen is good if you want literally any character and team of yours to deal more damage with very low effort. I hope this was helpful, and if it was, please do leave a sub, a like, and as usual, I hope to see you soon.